Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon. I think we're still missing one person, but we're going to get started. You know, there's a little chatty stuff to go through first. Okay, let me explain first a little bit about Concertina books, and then I'm going to explain everything that you have on the table. And then I'm going to do a demo here. And you can choose to watch it up here, or you can come up if you want to get closer. This is a very easy thing to make. No big deal. So, but I found, I think it was during what I call my art explosion during COVID. I was taking all these classes online, and that's where I first learned about Concertina books. And I thought, oh, what's the big deal? You know, so I took a piece of paper and I folded it up like this. And what I found was it was sitting on the desk. And like this one, I drew this face, and then it morphed into a bigger face, and then and I thought, oh, this is cool because you can fold it up and just look at one spot at a time. Or you can look at it like a book. Or you can go back to it and say, gee, I like those two sections, or I like that color combination. It's just a different way to play. You know, when you play in your journal, you're folding your pages, and you get 2 pages at a time. This way, you get all of this if you want it, or all of this if you want it, or any section of it. You know, if there's an idea that you want to take off on. I should introduce myself because I know there's some visitors. I'm Karen Pesch, and I'm with the Art Club. And I work in mostly mixed media. So that's what these are. But it's just an easy way. And I do these when I go on a trip. This is a purchased one. These I made. This is a purchased one. It's got a really nice heavy paper in it. They come really big, you know. And I had a little bit smaller one that I've taken on a couple trips with me. And I thought that's what I grabbed this morning, but I grabbed this one empty instead. So, but they're nice on a trip because you stick it in your backpack. And you get a break on a tour, you find a lovely spot, and you just want to hang out for a couple hours and do a sketch. It's just so easy. And you can journal and write about your trip, and then you have a nice travel log of where you've been. So that's that. This is what you're making today. So it's a 5x6. It's covered in bookbinding fabric, unless you bought something else and have that pre-cut to work with. And that's it. You can see I did a little painting on the cover. I'm not sure. I don't know which way it goes. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter
because you do one side and you flip it over and do the other side. You know, they're fun. I love them. So I thought I would share it. They're easy to make. They're ridiculously expensive to buy.
Wow.
And
How expensive are they, Karen?
Good
I don't know. I think I paid something like in the high 20s for this.
Oh, wow.
I see the small ones for 15, real small.
Yeah.
Real small.
Yeah, they're expensive. And to be honest, this is Indigo by Artway, and it's the paper, it wasn't worth the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the rip in it, so it's not very strong.
Yeah, it's very, I don't know what the word is, like a spongy paper.
It's not supposed to be handmade paper, is it?
It feels like handmade
It does,
paper.
yeah.
It was not billed as handmade paper, but it has that feel. And the paper, okay, so what you have a piece of newsprint to cover the table. On that, you have the bases for your covers. You have 2 pieces of cardboard. You have 2 pieces of bookbinding cloth. The first thing we'll do is cover the covers. And we'll only cover the outside of the cover because the inside of your cover is where your paper goes, your first square of paper. You have two, they look different than this because there was a little delay in the paper being ordered. You benefited because I used paper I had at home, which is a nice watercolor paper. That's mixed media paper. And I used up all my paper on you guys, and so I've got some scrap paper here to demo with. But that's what your two long pieces of paper will attach to your cover and get folded. And that's it.
There's a question.
Is this, arches, what we,
It's, I don't remember. It's Canson. It's a pad, you know, it's,
had,
yeah, it's, I don't know.
no, that's okay.
I should have looked at, I should have written that down, I didn't, and my memory's not so great, yeah, anyway. Okay, so, any questions so far?
Oh, just where do you buy the book binding fabric?
I bought it on Amazon.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. You have, are there any questions?
I could have the separate.
Is everybody good with the bookbinding fabric or their own fabric is ready to go? You have what you want? Does anybody need to trade colors or do anything like that?
Can I trade?
With the vacancies? And I used, what did I use? I used acrylic, I used ink, I used watercolor. It all took when I painted that little, doodled around with that on the cover.
Can you hold that
So
up?
if you have the bookbinding fabric and you want to paint on it, it's easy. You can do
You
that.
have to gesso first.
If you want to, no, I didn't have to. I just wanted to demonstrate. Okay. Does anybody want to come up or can you see okay on the? All right, pretty easy stuff here. You can see. The first thing I'm going to do, you know, I don't think this is going to show up. Why don't you give me the dark colored one? Please. And put that there. Okay. All right, that shows up better. Yes. Okay. So the first thing, easy, just, if anybody, I started getting this glue. It's called Fabri-Tac. Has anybody ever used it? If you're working with fabric, this stuff is really good.
Is it permanent bond? Yes.
Yeah, it's permanent, it's acid free and all that good stuff. And then just, you know, spread your, you want to get a good cover on it because it's going to, your little book is probably, if you use it a lot, going to take a lot of abuse. So I'm going to get it glued down real good. Out to the edges. And then all you're going to do is turn your fabric over, turn your cardboard over, and center it. Can you see what's in the screen? Just center it. You probably don't even need me to demo this for you. All right. Then,
That's open for you.
thanks. I like to pre-fold before I glue. Just run your nail along. Because the other thing I found with this bookbinding fabric, it didn't want to glue too easily on the corners. So you need to trim it, which I hadn't done. I was lazy when I made that one over there. And that didn't work so good. It doesn't usually, does it? So now I can see my corners.
And if
Where's
you
the
hold it right
camera?
here.
And now you can see your corners, right?
Yep.
We can go light a little bit, it's so glaring.
You
See
want
if we can.
Here, I can do it.
Can you do that, Lydia?
Just try it and see.
I moved it, I put it half. You want it up or
Down. What do you want?
down?
It's a little bright.
There we
Oh,
go.
it's better.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Good.
Can you all see? And then I'm just, how's that? Can you see?
Back, yeah, right here is good.
And
I
then
know.
just cut it, leave like 1/8 of an inch. Don't get right up to the cardboard, okay? So just cut across that angle, like so. Everybody can see?
Tell me if I get in your way. Oh, you're good.
Yep, and then I'm gonna do the edges. You don't have squeeze bottles, so you gotta deal with brushes. You've got a pot of glue there. Everybody's got one at their place. Where's mine? Am I showing up on?
Yep.
Okay, and then just fold your edges in, just hold them for a minute. And you're gonna do both. I think for starters. Nope, Sandy won't go there. Can I hold that down? I don't know why. What? Okay. And you're going to do that with the two covers, and then set those to the sides on the dry good. And we'll work on the paper. Okay. I'm going to come back and do the other one. I'm going to show you the next step, just for the sake of time. And if anybody wants to watch me do it again, we can do that at the end, after I do this part. Need some room. You're going to be bumping into each other on this next part. Okay. You notice at your place you have a little folding card that's 5-inch. Ideally, that's the width here, okay? So you at least want looks like I cut these a little bit. I think maybe because you're when you make the fold, it uses up some of the space that worked at home. But keep that in mind, that's an approximation. It is the exact width of the book. Oh, what would we do without Mark?
You'd have a video that was really hard to follow.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. So all you're going to do is take your paper. You have two pieces, and you're just going to overlap by a scant. And there's two ways of doing this. I'm doing this the easy way. You're just going to overlap it about a 1/2 inch and glue them together like that. The other thing you can do is you can take a small piece of paper that's the height of your pages, and you can lay that underneath, and then put your paper, the two ends butted together like that. I don't see any benefit to it, other than it's more work and tricky, and you got to line everything up. I think if you were really being fussy about it, maybe making them to sell or something, and you used a really thin piece of strong paper, that might make a difference. You know, something that paints over easily, or you wouldn't have any bulk in your pages that way. But this doesn't make a whole lot of bulk, it's just a simple half-inch overlay. And I've always found that to work just fine. I'm not going to do all of them. The next thing you're going to do is, there's two ways of doing this. I'm not going to recommend this way because if I didn't cut them exactly perfect, then your last page won't fit. So we're going to do it the measuring way. But one thing people do, and what I did.
This is our demo of what not to do, Karen?
No, I'm showing you.
Okay, well, I just wanted to get clear. I wasn't following. You said it.
I'm showing you options. These, if you just want to make stuff like this for your own benefit, you don't want to put a cover on it, the thing to do is take any length piece of paper, start folding it in sections. You know, fold it half, half again, and then you end up with something like that. To put a cover on it, you want your first and last pages to be the right measurement to cover that, okay? So, what you're going to do today is you're going to take that.
Are you saying those will be a little larger than the rest of it to cover the inside of the cover?
No, they should all turn out
they're
equal.
the same, okay.
I'm hoping they're going to all come out equal, but you know, if you overlay a little too much or a little less than I did, then you're going to, you know, you might be off a little bit. So, so the first one, yeah,
Yeah.
use that little guide, line it up and push it in so that you've got a good clean 5-inch. And really all you need is a good thing on the first one. Use the bone folder, flip it over, and do the same thing.
Getting that edge to line up is difficult at first, I bet.
Yeah.
Because I've tried
So-
doing it, yeah, and it's
So
tough.
you're just making, you know, an accordion fold all down your paper. The only thing I would say is when you get to the last one, if it looks like it's not going to be quite a full 5 inches, shorten up the second to last one a little bit. Make it 4.5, whatever. And that's fine. That won't mess your book up. It'll just be a shorter page in the middle, and then because you want to make sure your last page is that good 5 inches. Okay? And then what you will do, you'll come back here and we'll glue that down like that on each end, and your book is done. So I'm going to glue this end. The other end would be the same. So then you take this and glue, you want to glue pretty close to the edge because it's and again, you want to cover it with holding your book together. But it's like so many things in our fun world of art, you can make this as simple or complicated as you want. You know, it's you can make tall ones, skinny ones, short ones, fat ones, whatever, you know. Or just fold up that piece of paper and stick it in your pocket when you are taking a hike in the park. So I've got my pages, and they've all been folded, and they're lined out here now. And you have to turn over to go with the direction. You know, if I try to do it this way, I'm going to end up folding it back. So go with a fold, and just my beginning's a little screwy, so I have trouble with this light. Okay. smooth that out.
You should get a little desk lamp.
And there's your start of your book. But don't put the cover on till, till your pages are all folded. Questions? Pretty easy, right? Yeah? No questions at all?
Not until they start, probably.
Everybody's very quiet?
There's Jeanette.
Yes.
Here's a question. It looks to me as if your first fold is slightly larger than the book. Is that predictable or?
Well,
What is a little bit?
it's the way I glued it on,
It's a piece
Jeanette.
of
Yeah.
cardboard, okay.
Yeah. Like I
So
said,
is it
I have
preferable
trouble.
to have it smaller?
You could.
I
I see what you're
I
saying.
virtually am working with one eye, so,
Yeah.
It doesn't have to-
You're doing the same thing I am, the one eye thing.
yeah.
Since you have the border on the inside, it doesn't have to be the full. It doesn't have to be the full width,
Yeah,
right?
to be honest with you, yeah, I think that 5-inch thing I gave you
Needs to be trimmed.
should be trimmed a little.
Yeah.
It's a little big. And I don't know if they all are, I was cutting with a straight
So we
edge.
should measure the width out.
Yeah, measure it against to make sure it's the width you want, if you want to trim it, or just, you can use it just to push in to get your fold,
Thank you very much.
You could use it too, it helps. I mainly was thinking, it's hard, sometimes it's hard to line up where you want to fold. Can you see what I'm doing here? This might be a better way to use that little piece of cardboard. I'm lining it up here with the edge of my book. And now I'm gonna come up against it and make a crease, and then I'm gonna flip that over.
Instead of using the entire width, you can just do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work better. So,
Base it on the size of the cover, not the
yeah.
little 5-inch guy.
So now I've gotta go the other way. So I'm gonna line it up with the other edge of the cover. You see what can you see that okay? And then flip your paper back, or, come up against your edge so you get a tight crease. And then flip it back. And that might not be exactly perfect. It's not, we're not machines like making the other ones, but.
It would be.
Yeah, that
quicker
works
for
better.
me.
So yeah, do it that way.
Okay.
And then,
Really cool storybook. If you just along.
Or like a little panorama
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing would be really cool.
I did a card for
Aw.
so
yeah, if you had an idea, somebody just said panorama.
going from the country to see.
I use them more like for experimentation and just random thoughts and random thinking as I'm
And ideally, the last page would fit the cover.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes.
Well, it isn't, because I didn't use the standard paper. I used my scrap paper for the demo.
Oh, got it, okay.
Yeah. Now what I'll have to do, I'll glue the other piece on here, and I'll keep folding. I'm gonna glue that on here, and keep going. And then when I get to the end, I may have to just trim it, but I went through all my good paper on it, guys.
Thank you, Karen.
Right, Marlene,
All right.
Is this water soluble?
She's the god of mischief.
She started her folding from each end, and then glued her papers together in the middle to make a 5-inch.
Oh, you're gonna be my tutorial there.
It's, the problem with that is you have a very bulky page in the middle with, thick edges. I personally wouldn't want that.
You can cut it too. And
I
then
think, so either cut your edge.
cut it here and before you glue it too.
Yes, you could
Yeah.
do that. You could trim it down before you glue it. So either way,
That would be a good idea.
yeah. Thank you.
Maybe I'll do
Lucy.
that.
That's- Diana's.
Oh, you're on my.
These are my scraps.
Blue or purple?
The purple one doesn't freeze.